And cuckoo to you and all my nobody's not watching out there. There was one thing that I just suddenly randomly remembered I wanted to mention before. I did that whole thing where I watched like a short, I kind of skimmed through a short documentary, sort of not really, just it was talking about Anthony something Silva, Alexander Silva or whatever, because somebody brought it up, and I remember in playing through, I was like, it's a reverse elbow, and it's like, that's not a move that I'm particularly familiar with. I thought it was a spinning elbow, like a roundhouse elbow sort of thing, like you spin around. And I think I explained that. I'm like, well, I'm fast or whatever. Let's do that. And I chose that for that reason, because I didn't think what a reverse elbow actually is. Like I thought, I'm like, it could be that, but what sense does that make? It's like, and then I thought about it, I'm like, well, there's one way that could, it's like, okay, I see how that could be a useful thing. It just seems like it would only be applicable in certain situations, so not, like, and I didn't think too much about it at the time, but I was like, I guess it could mean that, but I think it's this other thing because that makes more sense. Although the other way, this just seems more flouncy now that I think about it, and having seen it. The thing is, I saw him do it. I saw Silva do it. Like, in one of the matches, I saw him fucking take somebody out with it, and it was not the thing that I thought it was. It was the thing that I thought, well, it could be that, but when would that work? It's like, well, I saw it work. It's basically like, kind of like a feint slash counter block. He went to the left, and he was being attacked with like a punch, and then he sort of just, as he did that, he just followed back, and bam, that fucking right elbow just clacked that motherfucker. And it was just like, okay. I'm in my head, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I guess it could work, if that's how you're gonna call it, but, like, that's the way in my mind it played out prior to seeing it, but I'm like, that can't be that useful of a move. If that's like, I just figured a reverse elbow would be more like a, you just follow through with a spin and you use an elbow, like you already have swung. But it did make sense when I saw it happen. My point is, I don't know if there was a wrong choice or a right choice in defeating that character. The game hasn't really had a lot of actual choices thus far. And I really doubt that the people who made the game cared so much that they expected somebody to, like, look up, you know, him, or know so much about him to know that he defeated somebody that way. Like, he got a KO. That guy went down. Like, it was just like, bam! I was like, oh! And they, like, were, like, talking about, like, and then he takes him out with a reverse elbow. I'm like, okay, that looked like that hurt. That guy, he doesn't know where he is right now. It's like, where's your location? And he would have a hard time saying Earth. Because he got hit good. But, so I saw it, but it's like, in my mind, I'm like, maybe that's why I succeeded in the thing. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure there wasn't really a wrong answer. I'm a fucking vampire. You know? I'm a fuck-mothering vampire, you know? Okay, I'm really not. I ain't no Alucard up in here. I'm a little, well, neonate, punk-ass bitch. Everybody gopher, makes me do stuff. But I kind of hope, like, I doubt they cared. And maybe the reality is there was only one of those things. Like, somebody just was a huge fan of who wrote this, and was like, let me just include this. And as long as you use something that Silva had done to knock somebody out, it would work, and maybe all would work. Maybe that's the thing, and no one's going to notice. Except for somebody who really likes Silva, or looked it up. I didn't look it up before the thing, I just picked that because I thought it made sense. But then saw, oh shit, no, he totally did that. Like, just as a sort of nod, like a little hidden Easter egg for only people who were Silva fans, or somebody who happened to be like, who the fuck is that? Like, I've watched UFC. It's like, I've probably seen him fight. He had a long career. It's just, he kind of was like all over the place. So, Like, he didn't just UFC, he did a lot of other... He kind of moved around and did stuff in other places. But, yeah. I probably have seen him fight, and just, I'm not good with names. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I thought it was cool. It's like, oh shit, I chose reverse elbow, and I saw him take somebody out with a reverse elbow, and I doubt that was the only viable answer. But it would be cool if the other answers, even if if there was no failing, because it's just a human or whatever, like all of them technically were the right answer, and it's because Silva did that, or Sylvia, or whatever the fuck I can't remember. I already don't remember his name. Like, did that at some point. And I just think that would be cool. Like, just as a sort of like, wow, you had to be a pretty big fan to do that. Like, it's like all the answers, or maybe there was one, it's like, that's one that he got taken out by. Which you would think actually would make more sense, or one that just isn't like a good move, or doesn't make any sense. It would actually make more sense that he wouldn't get taken out that way. But I still think it's kind of a cool thing, and maybe I'm just looking too deep into it, because I probably am. I just thought it was cool, and I noticed that, and I did the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever, DiCaprio meme where it was like, oh, like kind of like, oh, That's what I did. He just did that. What the fuck? And that added a level of enjoyment and excitement for me. I'm already enjoying this game more than I did the last one. Have I got my tree fitty worth out of it? I don't know yet. But it's already better than than the last game was. I just hope it kind of maintains this, because I've basically done nothing. But I like it more. Although I will say that the backgrounds are a lot less interesting. There's not as much hallucinogenic stuff happening, and again, that could have just been me not sleeping for so long. But I'm pretty sure if I played through it completely well-rested, sober, or anything, like, it's not like I was like taking hallucinogens. It's like your brain doesn't do good when you wake that long. Like, I'm pretty... The things still move. Like, they move. Like, I've watched some of those videos and been like, no, things are still moving. They just might have been forming into patterns and shapes that didn't actually exist. But maybe they did, and I'm just, like, doubting myself. Anyway, moving back on. We're continuing on. Now that I've said that, I had to say that because I thought it was a cool little thing. He's old money, of course. Comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in New York region. Runs a wildly successful law office. Oh my god. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't feel like you should be... Like, you don't like they don't have night court. I think that used to be like a daytime TV show, or it was like sort of before reality TV. But sort of like reality TV, but I don't think that's actually a thing in real life. There's like working hours, unless there's some sort of reason, so he could still run the office though. Anyway, rubs elbows with elites and of both kindred and kind, varieties alike. Okay. Man. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkov, and must be blighted with some affliction, but whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. Well, if he's all that, he does all those things, like, he does not look perfect in every way to me. That hairstyle does not look on purpose. Maybe it's just there to sort of be like, he's Malkavian. Stop doing that. Maybe that's their way of subtly, trying to get across the point that he's Malkavian, not so subtly, like, oh, but he has crazy hair. It's supposed to be cool. It's like, this guy works at a law office, and it's 2020, and he runs it. He's old money and stuff, and he has hair like that. Unless this is like oh yeah, no, I'm off, so I can have my hair look crazy or whatever. And I'm all very well groomed otherwise. It's like, no, I'm not buying it. But I would say maybe his affliction is OCD. That would be it. That would make sense. Like, that it helps him be litigious and shit. I don't know. He's obsessive compulsive disorder, hyperfocus, something like that. There's other things that could make sense. You could have all sorts of other afflictions, but so far that's the top one on the list, and I could probably think harder about it, but I really don't care, and I don't know how much I'm gonna have to deal with them. The celebrations are planned to last all week. Surely you will find the time. It's like, you're the Primogen, you gotta show up. He's like, dude, I work at a law office, I'm always busy. So it's not Malkavian business, it's actual human related business. Although he probably does help other vampire related stuff, because, you know, vampires have to get caught for crime sometime. They can't all just be like, these aren't the droids you're looking for, you know? I pray I will, good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. Like, I'm not gonna even try to do the two mixes, like, so, I don't have a particularly good Barack Obama impersonation. I'm not very good at that. My voice isn't deep enough, and I can't really catch his tone or inflection. And then with JFK, you know, you gotta say a lot. You gotta say chowder. Gotta throw chowder in every 3 seconds, otherwise it's not authentic. I'm sorry, that's not accurate at all. He was a great president. Barack too. I mean, if you're a president, you're probably not that great a person when you get down to the actual nitty-gritty of it, but among presidents, you know, there's definitely worse ones. Real talk, since we're just talking about presidents, fucking watch the Cracked video about Andrew Jackson. Fucking, that's just nuts. You're like, Andrew Jackson, why don't you have a movie? You are crazy. Like, there's a movie called FDR, American Badass. It's just a parody. You know, it's this president is played by, fuck, I can't remember what other characters he's played. But he plays it just, he does it a good, man, it's gonna bother me. He's had lots of roles, he's not super famous, but he's a good actor, and he does the thing. I think he does more serious stuff, but he did a great job in this, and the whole thing is just a parody, it's just a joke. It's a B movie that's really high quality and really well written, but it has its moments, where basically he has to kill a bunch of werewolves. And he's a badass. I would love to see and there's this one character, Cleavon Buford, that was like, he steals the entire movie. His screen time is really short. He gets maybe 12 minutes of screen time the entire time. His character isn't super important, but I fucking just, like, I just loved the actor's dedication, so I started following him on, like, Twitter and shit. And, like, I would love to see that guy, I do not remember his name, but Cleavon Buford from FDR, American Badass, play Andrew Jackson in a like a, not like a sequel or a prequel, but like of the same style, made by the same people. And you could have FDR be in it, you know? You could have him, like, the guy who played FDR be in it, have the other characters be in it in some way, try to like connect it, make like some sort of, not necessarily like a connected universe, but just like they can make a cameo or be in it or something, just for fun. Anyway, yeah. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all just still hoping I will simply go away. That kind of hurts coming from the Malkavian, I'm not gonna lie. The rest of you, like the Banu Hakim, I think Samira was a Banu Hakim. I think. That she went out of her way to be all nice to me is really nice, and I appreciate that. You know, girl power, we gotta stick together as on the fringe clans and stuff. That's cool. It does look like you're maybe gonna use me for a pawn, but Banu Hakim, they're not so much like that in general. If I were being used as a pawn, I wouldn't be aware of it, and the thing that I was doing wouldn't be... It wouldn't be like, go do this for me. It would be like providing an opportunity that I was unaware would even lead to anything. That's how they would use you. But the Malkavian, like, they worked with the Camarilla for a long time, but they're kind of like, look, we can't really just get rid of them. The best way to keep them from just causing more harm is to give them a spot, hold somebody accountable, and try to keep the rules enforced on them, knowing that we can't. That's the best thing. And they are useful. And do we want, like, when they're with the Sabbat, it's always bad. Sabbat Malkavians are terrible. Anarch Malkavians, not so bad, but you just never know. And it's just, it's like, you don't want them to be enemies, so they're friends. It's not friends close, enemies closer. It's one of those things like, dude, we don't want them close, but we don't want them farther away. At least we can see them here. So, yeah. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadir shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of New York City's Camarilla I dislike the most? Please let it be... Who was it? I don't remember. I don't know. I don't really know. If you're gonna say him, I get it. And I've met like 3, and the first 2 didn't really make a big impact on me, so I don't really remember them that well, and I don't have the video to go back to. One was in a wheelchair, and he was old, and he seemed like he was happy that he was embraced old so he could just stay alive. And he didn't mind that he was in a wheelchair and stuff. I don't think he could talk easily or something. I don't know. And then there was another one who just kind of bothered me. So I'm guessing the second one, but he probably doesn't like that one. Yes? He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all my dear colleagues, and I deeply respect every single one of them. That is the appropriate answer. How can you fucking trust me? You know, I've only been here for a year doing the gopher shit. Being a good little stooge. I do run my mouth off, though. And you are supposed to help me, but I'm kind of a dumbass. So, I get it. So, yeah, no, I get it. That seems fair. I wouldn't tell me either. Run my fucking mouth off. Plus, I don't have any ability, to my knowledge, to defend myself psychically. Everything you tell me could be something somebody could take from me without me telling them. Sure you do. Wouldn't want to blurt out something that could lock you out of Mr. Vander Wayne's legal services, would you? Ass kisser. I wouldn't say he kissed ass. And I would say that tongue of yours is gonna get removed and forcibly inserted into your own anus or some shit like that. You don't... Be nice to Kadir. You could be dead. I do expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Kadir, you know what? I tell you to never change, but I feel like there is some positive changes that could be made in your life. And you are growing and have grown since the last game, and you did grow during the last game, even though they kind of took that away from you sometimes. But I like you, and I feel like you make sense to me. Except for in the last game when, dude, we've been bonding and stuff, and then suddenly he's just a jerk for no reason because they didn't write enough dialogue to factor in the fact that I was a good little whatever. Then that annoyed me. But in general, I actually did like Kadir. You know? I understood, comprehended, and got him for the most part when it made sense. I think he's funny. You know what? I think he's fair as much as he can be. Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? Do you just... Are you just, like, practicing bad stand-up? Is that your thing? Like... Do you have to sarcasm all the things? I know you don't have a very good position, but that's not Kadir's fault. If anything, it's partially yours if you're like this to everybody. And he's definitely not going to try to up you anywhere if you're a dick to him at all times. And he has to just tolerate you. And then you just continue to embarrass yourself. And there she is, Helena Panhard. The Big Kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her. The de facto ruler of New York City and a self-professed patron of the arts. Kadir. Penny for your thoughts. Wow, you just walk out like that. Okay, that's not great. I'm concerned. Still look the same as before. Still concerning. You should be pleased to hear that the High Regent is resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. Vanderway is decidedly not. I suspect he'll be too busy to join the festivities all the week through. Okay, so I forgot about the High Regent of the Chantry from Tremere. Because she's sort of forgettable, and yeah, that was the second person, if I recall. I had my comments on her from the last time, and I don't really remember what they were, because it's whatever. I didn't particularly like her, but liked her more than her lackey, Agathon, who was... I was just like, seriously, if this is how you Tremere run things in New York, I'm glad that wasn't an option, because you guys are idiots. Like, if you don't see the incompetence and problems of your fucking... child here, or that you're forgiving it, you're not doing a very good job Tremering. Tremere is a very cutthroat fucking clan. They're like, everybody wants to move up, and if you suck at your job, you could die, dude. Like, you could just die. But you definitely won't get promoted, and even if you're good at your job, somebody who sucks at their job could do something to steal your work. Excellent. She turns to me. Miss Sawinski, were you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? That is, yep, that is true. Yepers. Unfortunately, somebody who wanted to save you paperwork gave me that paperwork and showed up 30 minutes late. So, you know, sorry, I'm not going to say it was traffic. I'm going to just say what it was. There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss, back in the city. Catherine is here. Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does it have to do with you, Miss Sawinski? I took care of her paperwork. She wanted to amuse herself. Kadir knows all the details. No, I took care of her paperwork. Let's play professional. She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival. Prince Panhard, it's been taken care of. Kadir has already been informed of everything. See, treat the prince with politeness, respect. At least you're not a sarcastic bitch. Plus Kadir will brief her, and yeah. That's certainly a nice gesture. But wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? Oh god, please do not let this fuck me. Oh, in my office. Oh wait, I don't have one. My bad. I met her at a crappy fast food restaurant. Because I have to meet people in public places. Because I don't have an office. I don't have a room. Thanks, Prince. I don't feel like there's a right answer. I don't even know what the answers are, but there is no right answer. In a fast food restaurant, my friends. It's like he looks straight, makes direct eye contact with me, sees a bus coming by, and then just yeets me into it. I see. And that's the bus only hitting me a little. Like it hits me with only one tire and I sort of roll into the gutter. Helena rubs her eyes. Oh, maybe I get hit by two. It's still bad. Catherine and her love for proletarian amusement. I suppose there will be a source of amusing anecdotes this week. If we want to avoid these situations in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sawinski an office of her own. Kadir, my heart. I've been such a bitch to you, and you're still like, look, actually, this is just a matter of corporate efficiency. I have to listen to less bitching of you, and then these things don't pop up. It's less of a headache for me. Well, get to it. We'll get to it. Oh, no. I did not say the little thing in there. No. It changes the entire meaning. Okay, my bad. We'll get to it eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow, and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure the art hole is secure before leaving? We're gonna go in and, like, clear? Like, certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Sawinski. We'll talk about your work soon. Don't worry. Good thing, bad thing? Who knows? Honestly, could be either. I'm gonna end this one just because I get the feeling I'm getting close to the end of that, so yeah. And I get the feeling something's gonna happen of interest.